Run! Run! before I get into this dream, I wanted to talk about a couple of things that were going on in my life at the time that I had this dream, just before I had this dream. At the time that I had the dream, I was not a daily vlogger kind of guy. I wasn't a personality. I wasn't somebody that you ever saw on YouTube. So that's interesting because in the dream, there's some elements to that, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, it should be noted that I see Shay Carl in the dream. And Shay Carl, for those of you who do not know, is more famous around YouTube circles. He's a famous YouTuber. So it's important to know, if you don't know who he is, you'll know who he is now, okay? Also, just before I had this dream, my wife and I were both looking at Hawaii as a place to live, okay? So this is something that changed my viewpoint on where I wanted to live after having this dream as well, okay? So it's important to know. And if there's anything else, I'll toss it in as we go. Alright, so the dream happened a few years back, and again, I do not know the interpretation of it. I can only tell you this is the dream to the best of my memory, and we'll post it there. Maybe down the road, God will give you the interpretation for it, okay? And it may be literal, and it may be figurative, and it may be a combination of both. I do not know. In this dream, I am in Hawaii, and I believe my wife is there with me, but I don't ever see my wife in the dream. And I believe in the dream, when I'm there in Hawaii, I know that I'm going to have a dinner with Shay Carl, and I think his wife as well. So I think it's like him and his wife and me and my wife, but I don't see his wife and I don't see my wife in the dream. I just see myself at this point in time. As I'm waiting for Shay Carl, I know that he has not arrived yet. I'm there first. That might be important down the road, I don't know. As I'm waiting, all of a sudden I know that he has arrived, and I can see him a few shops down the street from where I'm at, and he is sitting in like a chair getting his nails done or something like that. And I know that he is well known, he's famous. I also know that I am well known and famous, but not as much as he is, and in the dream I am jealous of this. After dinner has happened, I don't remember seeing the dinner that took place, but I am standing on the beach with Shay Carl. Shay Carl is facing me, I'm facing him. He is looking inland, and I'm looking out. Like Shay Carl's here, and then beyond him I can see the ocean. And I'm talking to him, but I don't know what I'm saying, I can't hear it. And all of a sudden I look over his left shoulder and I see a massive tidal wave, or a massive wave. I don't know what you would classify it as, but it's just a massive wave. And the only thing that I say is run. And I turn around and I start running. And I don't see Shay Carl in the dream from that point on. As I'm running inland, try to get to high ground, the wave, of course, overtakes me. Now the wave, you would expect, would topple me, right? It would roll me like this, It doesn't happen like that. It grabs me from the waist and lifts me up and starts to take me inland. I know I'm lifted up because as I'm moving inland, all of a sudden I see two power lines moving my direction. And I'm concerned that when I hit these power lines, when my body runs up against these two power lines, I'm going to be electrocuted. And as these two lines are coming at me, just before they hit me, I close my eyes expecting the impact, and nothing happens. And so I open my eyes, and I have passed by the power lines. I don't know how, but I passed by unscathed in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even feel them touch my body. And we just continued to move inland. And at the point that I remember next, I note that there's something touching the sole of my feet. The sole of one foot in particular, the right foot. It may matter down the road. And I touch it, I try to get a better grip on it with my foot, and then the water just recedes, and it's like it just gently releases me and lets me go, right? And so the water recedes, and I see that I am now standing on what looks like a metal railing, like maybe black wrought iron railing that you might see on the second story of someone's house or something like that, okay? And I'm standing on this railing, and I look over here, and I see two soldiers, which in the dream it seemed to me that they were like National Guard kind of people. And I hear them talking to each other, and one of them asks the other, where are they taking them? And the other one replies, to Canada. And that's the end of the dream. Now, as I stated in the beginning of this video, I don't know the interpretation. I do know that the way it looked was as though a natural disaster had hit, and they were moving people to Canada. Now again, that's just how it appeared. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like that, like it's going to be a real wave of water. It could be symbolic, or something like that, of something else. So again, like I said, I don't know the interpretation of it. If you do, if you know some insight regarding this, something like that, feel free to comment below. And if you're just like I am and you're wondering, what do you do with this information? For me, at the time that I had the dream, I was looking at moving to Hawaii. When I woke up from that dream, I told my wife I'm never going to Hawaii. So it's just one of those things that for me, it shifted my direction. And again, it may be completely symbolic and not have really anything to do with, as bad as it looks like a massive destructive wave of water that hits Hawaii, right? If you live in Hawaii and you're concerned about this, I would just say pray about it. Obviously, people can't just up and leave Hawaii just because someone had a dream about something like this, We don't know how many years down the road this thing could take place, so if it ever took place in the physical sense, right? So just pray about it and let God direct you as He sees fit, okay? That's all I have for you at this point in time regarding that dream.